Hello and welcome to another Trench Crusade painting tutorial. And in this video, we're going to take a look at non-metallic metal painting for desaturated gold. Typically, I do not work with NMM, non-metallic metals. However, I find that NMM looks pretty good for something that's a little more gritty like Trench Crusade. So it's something that I learned in a basic capacity. And by basic, I mean I paint it pretty simply, but despite that, it looks pretty good. To learn how to paint NMM, you really just need to understand lighting. Every time you paint a model, you should look to have a primary light source. This means you pick a direction and decide that is where the sun is going to be when you think about your model being a real-life thing on the battlefield. Check out this diagram. That big spotlight is our sunlight, and it is giving off the biggest reflection. Despite that, it isn't the only reflection. Light bounces off of things, which can cause a secondary light source so that you can paint some more highlights for your NMM. This could be things like the ground reflecting light upwards towards the bottom of your model, for example. We're going to be painting the Lion of Jabir's helmet, which will have a pretty similar shape to a basic sphere, so I should be able to show you this in practice fairly well. Speaking of that, let's grab a brush and start painting. So first we're going to get started with our moody base coat, and for that I'm going to take Thornwood Green by P3. I'm going to apply it with a sponge. You can use an airbrush if you'd like, but this time I opted for the sponge. There are pros and cons to both the airbrush and the sponge, so make sure you know what you want to do and choose your tool accordingly. When you first start painting, you want to decide where your light is going to come from, and the easiest way to do that is to shine a bright light on it when you've primed it. My light is reflecting here, but I'm actually going to reference the art when I'm painting this, and the light from that is going to come from this upward angle shown here. And it's very important to take that into consideration when you are applying your base colors, but especially important when you are highlighting. You want to make sure it's coming directly from that sunlight. To begin painting, we're going to be taking Two Thin Coat's Gizmo Fur, and we're going to be applying it with a stippling motion. I really like the stippling motion when applying paint for this kind of thing because it creates that texture, and if you watch my previous video, texture is very important in creating the mood necessary for Trench Crusade. It'll also help you make your metallic look right. Gizmo Fur is a darker color, so it's okay that we're applying it over the majority of the model. It's a very nice base color for that desaturated gold look. That said, we do want that darker Thornwood Green to show through in parts because that darkness will help create that contrast, which will give us the mood we want for Trench Crusade. When you add a second coat of your color, you want to think about it strategically, and that's because when you add that second color, you're making the color more intense. That can act as a highlight without actually highlighting the mini, which is important not only for contrast, but also controlling how you want the mini to look, and very important for making sure that you're not over highlighting, which can kill your piece by making it just too bright. Once that coat is dry, we're going to take that Gizmo Fur and then start to mix in some Citadel Baylor Brown, and we're going to start to stipple it in as our first highlight. It's important to remember that less is more as you highlight. Don't overdo it. The focus of that last shot was a little bit off, so I'm redoing a little bit of this. And as you can see, I am working slowly into it. I've got a lot of control. This other side of the miniature, I don't leave completely dark, even though the sun isn't hitting it. Because remember, those additional highlights can happen from things reflecting the sun off of it. So there's light hitting from all over the model, even though it's not the most intense point. So make sure you are highlighting accordingly. Back on the side that the sunlight is hitting, I'm making sure I'm grabbing all of those edges and making sure that they are fully colored, as well as making sure that that direct point of sunlight on the flat surface has that full color as well. All right, for our next coat, we're going to take pure Baylor Brown and we're going to start highlighting it. Baylor Brown is such a great color for this desaturated non-metallic metal. It really highlights that gizmo fur naturally. As you can see by my brush strokes, I'm making them very small, taking a lot of time to make sure I have complete control over where these strokes are going. Control is extremely important as we progress with this non-metallic metal, as well as that ever so important philosophy that less is more. Thinking about both of those, I'm applying my highlights sparingly, as well as making sure I'm not overstepping where that light should be hitting. And you can really see the impact of this. I've used 2 colors and it's really looking like it already has a sort of dull shine to it. And I actually find this process really enjoyable. I love building up highlights, so I take my time and make sure this looks as good as I want it, and you should too. After that, we're going to take ice yellow and we're going to mix it into our Baylor Brown, and not a whole lot of ice yellow, by the way. We're going to continue to kind of do the same thing. We're just going to apply less and less, have all that control, and make sure that we're only applying it where that light should be hitting, especially as we add that ice yellow and it starts to get really, really bright. My camera does show these highlights a bit brighter than they are in person, and if you're worried about that, just add a little bit more Baylor Brown into your mix and highlight that way. Remember, you have complete control over your colors. If you don't like the way I'm doing things, you can change it up. You can add different colors, you can use different amounts of brightness, it's all up to you. And remember that even though the sun isn't directly hitting some of these parts, you want to add little bits of highlight just to make sure it's not forgotten and that it looks too flat, but don't overdo it because then you can make it look too highlighted. And here's an example of what I'm talking about on the other side of the model where the sun isn't hitting. I'm adding a little bit of highlight, but not a lot, because I do want this darker because the sun is not hitting it. And this is actually going to be all the highlighting I will do for this piece. I'm not going to touch this after this, so that's complete. To continue on highlighting, we're going to add more ice yellow into our base mix, and I've switched to a smaller brush. Typically, I would say that the brush size doesn't matter, but a smaller brush does mean you'll load up on less paint, which means there's less of a chance you will put too much paint onto the model when you're doing your brush strokes. It just gives you more control. With a smaller brush, you do have to make sure that you refresh it more often, so clean it and then put paint back onto it because it does dry out more quickly when there's less paint and water involved. And like with that Thornwood green coat, you can highlight without highlighting with a brighter color by just adding another coat of the color that you are using. And to finish our desaturated gold, we're going to take pure ice yellow and do some dot highlights. Now, pure ice yellow is very bright, so you want to do it very, very sparingly and be very careful with how much you're putting on. But you do need this brightness to make that metal look really shine. We're only going to apply it to the edges and corners of the spots where that sunlight is hitting directly. So let's take a quick look at a work in progress that I painted with the exact same formula as the Jabiri lion. Now this guy is bright, and I did that purposefully because I wanted him to look more heroic as he's the captain of the group. And this will show you just where you put your highlights and how much highlighting you do can really change the look of the model. And here's the completed model. This is the line of Jabir for Trench Crusade. I had a lot of fun painting this. I'm really stoked about what I accomplished. I think it looks very close to that art. The contrast of the non-metal metallic really gives it a shine, but also it's so dark that it keeps that kind of grim, moody atmosphere that Trench Crusade really loves. And as you explore this formula, I hope that you will love it too. And if you do, give this video a like, give my channel a subscribe. Both of those things are super duper awesome, and I very much appreciate it if you do. It makes my day. I know I've been pretty delayed getting some videos out. It's tough. It's troublesome to get some time to get the editing in, but I will get more content out. I do very much love doing it, and I hope you love my content. So more painting videos to come. Gundam, Trench Crusade, Marvel, lots of cool things on the horizon. And I'm also going to be entering some painting competitions like Golden Demon. I don't plan on winning, but we will see how it does. That said, I will catch you in the next video. Thanks.